Hello, today I'm looking at Majjhima Nikaya number 10, the Sattipatthana Sutta, otherwise known as the Foundations of Mindfulness. And I can't do much better than just reading the summary given by Bhikkhus Bodhi in his translation in the notes section of his translation. And he states, the structure of this sutta is fairly simple. Following the preamble, the body of the discourse falls into four parts by way of the four foundations of mindfulness. The first part is contemplation of the body, which comprises 14 exercises: mindfulness of breathing, contemplation of the four postures, full awareness, attention to foulness, attention to the elements, and 9 charnel ground contemplations, reflections on corpses in different stages of decomposition. The second foundation is the contemplation of feeling, considered one exercise. The third is contemplation of mind, also one exercise. And the fourth foundation is the contemplation of mind objects, which is the translation used by Bhikkhus Bodhi, I think, of the word Dhamma. So I wonder if maybe a different interpretation could be contemplation of the doctrine. This has 5 subdivisions, which is contemplation of the 5 hindrances, the 5 aggregates, the 6 sense bases, the 7 enlightenment factors, and the 4 noble truths. And Bhikkhus Bodhi goes on to say, thus the sutta expounds altogether 21 exercises in contemplation. Each exercise in turn has 2 aspects: the basic aspect explained first, and a supplementary section on insight, which indicates how the contemplation is to be developed to deepen understanding of a phenomenon under investigation. And finally, the sutta concludes with a statement of assurance in which the Buddha personally vouches for the effectiveness of the method by declaring the fruits of continuous practice to be either arhatship or non-returning. So that's the summary by Bhikkhus Bodhi, which pretty much covers the whole of the sutta. And he also goes on to explain in another note in his commentary that mindfulness is called the direct path, and it invariably leads to the final goal, nibbana, whereas meditative attainment via the brahmaviharas, that's the jhanas, can lead to the final goal, but also can lead to sidetracks, which I thought was quite an interesting comment on the difference between using mindfulness and using the jhanas or insight meditation. So that's the summary. Just to go through it in a bit more detail, which is basically an expansion of what I've just read from the Bhikkhus Bodhi annotations. The contemplation of the body is the breathing in, breathing out, observing it without any attempt to control it, letting it calm the body and the breath. And the insight on this method or part of the mindfulness is the person abides contemplating the body either experientially or by observation. So that's the two ways of observation. It's observation. Well, the 2 ways of doing this is by experiencing it or by observing it. So the breathing, that's probably obviously experiencing the breath, and you also observe yourself breathing. So the breath arises within, then disappears. Contemplate this, not clinging to anything. Another one is the 4 postures, which is the same breathing, but contemplating on the breath, except when doing it when walking, standing, sitting, lying, again, experienced and observed. Another one is full awareness. Be fully aware of everything you do, moving, eating, drinking, urinating, defecating, sitting, falling asleep, and so on and so forth. There's full contemplation, again, experienced and observed. And the next one is the body parts, which is labelled foulness for some reason, but be fully aware of all the body parts from top of the head to the tip of the toes, the internal organs and their contents. The next one is the elements. Review the body by way of earth, air, fire and water elements. The next one is the charnel grounds. Review the body as it rots away. And this hopefully be more by observation than experiential. Anyway, all bodies are of the same nature, not exempt from the fate of decay, its arising, its vanishing. So it's making the point that, we are here temporarily. Feelings, contemplation on pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling, both worldly and unworldly. Emotional and physical feelings, their arising and their vanishing, or recognise there is a feeling. So again, this is just contemplating the body, the effects on the body. The contemplation of the mind, affected by, unaffected by greed, hatred and delusion. Also how the mind is affected by contraction, distraction, exalted, unexalted, surpassed, unsurpassed, concentrated, unconcentrated, liberated, unliberated, and how these states arise and vanish. Or there is mind simply established to the extent for full knowledge and mindfulness. And the last one is the contemplation of, let's say the translation is mind objects, which could be also the doctrine, the Buddhist doctrine. So contemplation on the 5 hindrances, the sensual desire, ill will, drowsiness, restlessness and doubt. Contemplate them experientially, because you're experiencing them, or by observation. Watch as they arise and they vanish. Contemplation of the 5 aggregates, which is material, form, feelings, perception, what's that one? Mentality and consciousness, I think. Yeah. And how they are affected by clinging. Contemplation on the 6 bases. And the 6 bases are eye, sound, ear, eye is the sight, ear the sound, nose, odours, tongue, flavours, mind, thoughts. And contemplation of the enlightenment factors, the 7 enlightenment factors: mindfulness of the Dhamma, investigation of the Dhamma, energy, determination, joy and rapture, relaxation, concentration and equanimity. And lastly, contemplation on the 4 noble truths. The truth of suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the way leading to cessation. So that's it really in a nutshell. So there's sort of a very good how-to guide on mindfulness, and well summarised by Bhikkhus Bodhi, and I've just highlighted the main points, I hope. So that's MN, or Majjhima Nikaya number 10. Thanks for watching.